them giving me music of listening. Hi, for Somo coming to the room to make our playlist on a Friday. How you doing? I don't know where you're listening to us from and what you're going through this Friday, but as long as you tune in to Platinum Radio, we are good. And joining us, my name is Misty.
I am Yardley, God's gift to radio.
That's what he says. And I am Misty, our goddess.
You know, one day,
One day,
just one day, I'll hug you.
One of these days.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to hugs. I refuse in advance. I don't know what you want. Just say what you want.
One day.
What is it that you
this
want?
whole thing of that's what he says. One day. One day. Day one.
The people will be witnesses.
Yes.
What he's saying today.
Yeah.
We're going to get into the deep dive. A recap of our show. We've been running from 6:30 up until now. We've had the Sunrise News, a trip around the world. We'll let you know how the world will feel that. We get into sports, we get into business, we go everywhere so that by the end of the show, you are thoroughly entertained, informed, as well as educated. And of course, we love to talk to people. It's interactive radio. That's why you are texting and calling on 0954500997. But we're live on social media too. So if you're on the Blue app today, it's Platinum Radio 99.7. A very good morning to you.
Oh, yeah.
Coming on.
Talking about
via
apps,
Facebook.
you know, talking about apps. I laugh about how the Blue app is considered like community.
It's the ghetto.
For everyone, the ghetto. And then there's LinkedIn, where everybody.
It's very pretentious.
Yes, absolutely.
People are
It's
always
overrated.
happy to announce that I'm happy to announce that I attended. I am thrilled. Why are you thrilled on a Friday when we're broke?
Something as simple as I got off from home
Yes.
to work.
Put it on LinkedIn.
I am happy to announce that I took a vocational journey from an abode to a place of earning an income.
That's what big English
You move
is.
from home to work, dude.
Yes.
Okay, so anyhow,
And
because
then on X,
on exit will be something Trump-like.
yeah.
Something Trump-like. I, who has money, have moved from a luxurious home to a place of earning, like from work. Because on X you want to minimize the number of words that you're using. Like I moved from home to work. Yeah, I moved from home to work. Let's be effective. That's it.
And then you tell a story like in bits.
Yes.
In the comment section. I can't.
Why are you?
I will leave on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because I can get on video and tell you everything I need to tell you.
Better.
And
Better. But
Yes.
because I brought in LinkedIn, because people brag on LinkedIn, and we can brag also.
yeah.
Because we went and fished, you know, across the Zambezi,
Yes.
across the Victoria Falls. Well, it's not so nice
On the other
on
side.
the other side.
But we still
But we
crossed
still
them.
went. And we
Because
brought
we're nice people.
Yeah. And because people are so used to eating donuts, and you know the one name that you is synonymous to a donut is McDonald, right? So okay, I got it.
The level of violence.
Yes.
Before we even begin.
Yes, and to think we're going to be talking about investments. So Mcdonald Gurura, we brought him all the way from Zimbabwe, and he's joining us in studio right now. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Wow, I wanted to say thank you firstly, but the violence,
There's no thanks.
the violence. I mean, coming from the other side, the better side of Zambezi, I would like to say, good morning to you. Good morning, Khalsa. Good morning, Misty. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for giving me this brilliant opportunity to discuss. And just take a deep dive this morning.
It's important to continue saying that we've given.
I'm the receiver, you're the givers. I'll take that.
No, we're happy to have you. But,
Fantastic.
Who's McDonald Gurura?
Mcdonald Gurura is standing in front of you. I always find that I used to be on the other side of the mic in another lifetime already, and
Right.
I used to find it a very interesting question. So who is Tendai Changai?
Yeah.
So who is Mcdonald Gurura? I invited you, so I know you.
It's very simple, but it's
Yeah.
also like such a a loaded question every time.
Absolutely.
So tell the people, who is Mr. Like, what?
Where do I start?
Where do I start from?
Yeah, fantastic. But to just try to, in a nutshell, explain to you or describe what McDonald is. McDonald is a passionate Pan-African, if you want. I'm really passionate about seeing the agenda of development, firstly as nations in Africa, and then secondly as a continent to become a global economic contributor, a significant one in that, considering all the resources that we have. I feel that my voice has been enhanced in terms of the work that I've done in media, in terms of the corporate space, in terms of public relations. I also, convene and moderate events. So this has given me access to, some of the most amazing corporations across Africa and across the globe. And in these meetings, you get to learn of unique opportunities that lie within Africa, hear people, hear resources, and how, we can actually become more than what we are. So now I'm going ahead of myself. I know I'm just so passionate about it.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But
I was looking at the script.
Yeah.
My guys trash the script. We're gonna talk. Yes. Now we're gonna have a conversation.
I love that. I love that. So yeah, born and bred in Zimbabwe, but a global contributor. That's who McDonald is. Passionate about people empowerment. Passionate about seeing Africa take a place and be a significant global contributor economically.
I'm always fascinated by when people explain who they are and what they do. Like how do someone land on that type? Like how do you recognize your purpose and fall into it and follow that path? Mm-hmm. How did you get there?
That's a very important question there, Misty. And I'll say that first, it's a continuous journey. Yeah. We are always, if we allow ourselves actually, because again, the choice is up to us at the end of the day, but we are ever evolving into become the true person that we can fully become. And I think that, purpose lies within understanding, your passion. What are the things that make you sleepless? What are the things that make you angry? Is it somebody throwing litter, when you're in your commuter omnibus? Do you feel angry about that? Is it the environment? Is it political? Is it the political space? Is it business? Yeah. What is it? Is it the plight of widows? Is it what? And all of us uniquely, there are things that we generally gravitate or lean towards, and those are the things I think in my own journey and also in my study of others who have walked this purpose walk have leaned towards. And also I think for me, one of the things is always two questions at the back of my mind that I try to constantly ask myself is, number one, what kind of work would I want to be doing that even if I go 6 months without a salary, I'll still enjoy going back every morning. And then number two,
jobs they don't like.
Absolutely, it's just the rat race, 9 to 5. You go to work, you eat, you sleep, it's the same. But what significant impact are you actually making? If it's a 9 to 5 and that's your purpose and passion, then fine. Yes. But if not, you need to reconsider.
There's one time. This particular period in my life, 2017, 2018, I was doing TV, and I read a document, Financial Intelligence Center, talking about how money was bleeding out of this country. That night, after reading the document, I was sweating profusely, and I got sick. I was puking.
That bad.
I spent the night in the toilet because I was so angry.
Yeah.
I was so angry because the amount of bleeding that was happening in terms of the resources that we have as a country. Which reminds me about something you said, Pan-Africanism. Recently, the president of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, said to a UN team, we're not interested in, you telling us how we should come to the table in terms of our natural resources. We don't want to export, raw materials. We're not interested in that conversation anymore. But do you think that we've gotten to a point as Africans where we could go to the table and negotiate on our terms?
Fantastic question and very brilliant. And I think we have to look at this question not just presently and going forward. Let's look at it historically. This movement of a united Africa, of Africa coming through and taking its space in terms of its resources, its independence is a journey that started way back, even before 1963, when the formal, signing of the Treaty of the Organization of African Union, now the African Union, was, promulgated in Ghana, rather by, forefathers like, your Ghanaians, Kwame Nkrumah's, that's what I meant to say. And the journey has been up and down, and we've made significant strides. You look at one of the things that has been achieved so far is that most African countries are now independent in terms of colonial rule, which was really a burden on us. But now we're getting to a place of understanding that we also need to be economically independent, economically responsible for our own resources, so that we can be the best of who we are as individual nations and then as a single collective. So and then you also have certain things that are drawing us back as Africa when we look at, both the body politic and corporate. We look at vices like, lack of proper corporate governance. We look at issues of corruption. These are issues that are drawing us back from that perspective of being able to stand and to sit rather at the table and to discuss issues, to say, how can we utilize our human capital and our resources to be significant contributors. You look at, again, your question that you say, are we ready? I would say that I think we're on the right space. Progress could be faster, but there's an awakening of the idea of value addition to our own resources before we export them. Even in Zimbabwe, when you look at lithium, we actually decided, no, we're not going to export raw lithium anymore. We're going to value add here in Zimbabwe and export. That is how we become, more significant in contribution. And just as you mentioned, even in Zambia, as your president has said, that's important. We see all across Africa that the strain of thinking, but it takes everyone. That's the thing.
That's the problem.
It takes everyone, not just the body politic. There's going to be a buy-in from corporate, buy-in from Africa as a whole.
I like that you brought in the aspect of lithium, because Zambia, Zimbabwe, a little bit of Malawi, because Malawi is like just an extension of Zambia. It's okay.
Oh, wow.
We can let them
continue.
We can let them think they're a country. But there's a policy analyst that I know, very young, brilliant young man, and he's talking about how lithium needs Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Malawi to sit down and dialogue and agree on how the three countries are going to gravitate towards becoming a key player in the EV industry. How important do you think that dialogue is amongst ourselves as Africans before we get to the table?
You bring in a very important aspect, and I'll just look at these examples in terms of what the power of unity or a united front in terms of countries is able to achieve. And I'll come back to the question that you gave me. We look at the United States of America. It's I think 54 states, different, but all united under one banner as one country. But these are distinct states that could stand alone as countries. You look at Africa. You look at the different states across, and we stand as individuals and not as powerful as we could be if we stand together and become a force to reckon. I was watching a podcast recently which made me take a minute, drop back and really think, and I thought, wow, that is really profound. It was a podcast on by Shingai Mtasa, and interviewing Shingai Mtasa and Karen Mtasa, one of the amazing business people from Zimbabwe to Africa and the world. And they were on a podcast with TD Jakes called The Next Chapter. And Shingai Mtasa put to the table that, one of the challenges that we have as Africa is that when we look at issues of cooperation across, be it the West, be it the East, be it different continents, each country in Africa, or sometimes two countries can have a consulate of, different ambassadors from, say, the United Kingdom to Zimbabwe, the United Kingdom to Zambia, the United Kingdom to, Cameroon, for example. You have an ambassador, the United States to Zimbabwe, to the United States to Algeria, and things like that. So you have more than, I don't know how many embassies represented from the globe. Whereas in terms of Africa, again, we have so many different people going there. Why don't we have a single ambassador from Africa, to the US, a single ambassador to China, where trade can be, really convened at a level that's, peer-to-peer.
Right.
And instead
Right.
of fragmented and less powerful and impactful. So I really like your point there. So I just wanted to put that out there to just give us that broader picture of how a divided Africa cannot stand when it comes to conversation.
When you think about it, like in those terms as well, where we have like all these ambassadors from individual countries, it means the conversations that are being had about Africa are very different out there, according to who's talking to who, what interests they have in that regard. So if you have like 50 ambassadors out there in a country, you can negotiate a better deal for Zambia, and then you can shortchange Nigeria.
There you go.
There you go. Just to add context,
Just
to add context to what you're saying, the 3 conferences or summits that I absolutely hate. I hate them
with a passion.
Yeah, I like to say unequivocally, without regret,
without prejudice.
Inadvertently, I just hate them. China Africa Summit.
Oh.
India Africa Summit. Russia Africa Summit. Like one
country
president is meeting. I hate that. I hate that with a passion because we are belittled. Exactly what you're saying. Because it's like president of small country and come. Let me cluster you together. Come and meet me, who is the president for a serious country. And I hate that.
Absolutely. So that was a great question that you put to the front. I had to really make it that broad to come back to a space of having Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe sitting down. And I love the job that you have, that we have, that sometimes we've got the opportunity to be able to speak truth to power and say, hey guys, why don't we think about doing this? Because this will make us more impactful. This will, obviously grow our economies firstly, grow our mutual trade and just, really create a ripple effect, even if you want, across Africa, where we can stand as one and be able to utilize our resources, be able to contribute and be able to, create better lives for our citizens, which is the aim at the end of the day.
I want to gravitate towards the Africa free trade area.
Absolutely, yes.
And I am reminded of what Aliko Dangote said when the young man I Show Speed came to Zambia. I mean, to Africa. I think he went across Africa in how many days? 28 days.
28 days.
He visited, I think it was
Nigeria, Zambia,
12 countries, I think,
Zimbabwe,
in about a month. Now it takes Aliko Dangote, who is Africa's richest man, a lot of paperwork in terms of visas to move from Algeria to Rwanda. And this young man, because he's a TikToker, he's a social media influencer, content creator. You give him access, speedy access. Aliko Dangote is creating thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs on the continent. And you make him go through a much more tedious process than somebody who's doing for entertainment. Are we serious?
Absolutely.
Are we our own enemy? That would be my question as well. Like, are we our own enemy as Africa when it comes to actually not making it easy? And not just like at that level of businessmen. Look at even the struggle for individual, like Africans in this continent, and how hard and tedious it is for me to move from here to another country. And then somebody from outside the continent who have just like easy access to all the African countries. It's quite an impediment in terms of progress.
Absolutely, and I think that we see this manifesting on that level, but it starts really from the individual, which is what I always believe, our individual mindset. Yes, there's going to be people who've got to, take the walker and say, let's begin to act like this, let's begin to think like this, but it's so sad what you're talking about and what you mentioned, Mr. as well, in terms of how difficult it is for us to actually interact and work together. Yesterday I had the brilliant opportunity, the past 2 days, to be moderating at the UFES Zambia Africa Investment Summit. And one of the things that Dr. Humphrey Monde mentioned, who is the president of the UFES, said this, United Federation of Employers Zambia. He said that one of the biggest challenges in terms of business is that there is too much tedious paperwork.
Yes.
It's too much tedious paperwork, especially when you're looking at from some government departments, where, for instance, if it's issues of registration or authorization, and you want to start, for example, a restaurant. I'll just give that example. I don't know if it's relevant to Zambia. You go to one office, and the same set of documents that you require, and you give them. Then you go to the next office, and then they ask you for the same set of documents, and then you go to the third office, and it becomes so tedious.
The issue of permits.
Yeah.
You get this permit.
Yes.
And also like the expediency part of it, because for you to just get something that you could get within a day somewhere. Look at that big.
No. I wanted to bring that up. Because it came up yesterday.
Oh, is it?
I was in a different district yesterday,
good Lord.
Wanyama,
Yeah.
and I sat with some people who were talking about the tediousness.
Yeah.
So you go to an office, and first of all, they were talking about the civil service.
Yeah.
You go into an office, and they tell you, "Oh, you want to register? Okay. Just hold on. You need to meet someone, right?" That person walks out. And because you've sat so long, but is this, oh, you didn't say, they just walked out. I don't know what this person looks like, right? Number two, they were talking about, you go with a document and they say, "Oh, no. You need to photocopy this." So you go up, photocopy, come back, and they tell you, "Oh, now you need to add this." Then she and I have spent this entire week going to two weeks going to some institution to get an online platform
For
something,
invoice.
right? And it's taken 2 weeks. So you walk into a space and they say, "We are on lunch."
That's
Right now.
It's taken. You spoke about a restaurant. I went registered for permits for a restaurant. Do you know I still haven't gotten those permits? This is year
And
2.
yeah.
2 years.
It's like
that is absolutely sad. And these are some of the areas or the pain points where we need drastic and immediate action. We've seen some strides in terms of, back in Zimbabwe, it's much easier in terms of compared to what it was and what it is now. When you look at issues of company registration, we've now gone online. Issues of Procurement Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, ZIMRA, our taxmen. We've gone online. We can definitely be better.
We have gone online as well for that, and now also we have to fix issues of how good is the network, how fast.
So those other issues come about. So I think the idea is that, but we just need more impetus to make this faster. I love what Rwanda has done. Some of these registrations, you can even do them online, from wherever you are. And when you get there, you're hitting the ground running. And one popular phrase that's been, very popular, not only in Zimbabwe, but across Africa, is the ease of doing business. And there's been some strides, but I think we can actually, put more teeth into the meat of that issue.
That's very true.
Okay, let me ask you a question that's going to make me look intelligent.
Oh wow!
Wow. Such a humble brag.
I know.
No, but I want us to talk about some of the gaps or opportunities that you've seen in terms of, consultancy in the legal space and otherwise, because you're somebody that is exposed to a kaleidoscope of sectors, and as a young person who's gravitating towards an Africa that is on the rise, especially that we have, and you were talking about it earlier on, artificial intelligence.
Right.
How can we leverage some of these opportunities even as we try to become better, first of all as individuals, then obviously as Zimbabwe and Zambia?
Absolutely, fantastic, brilliant question. For me, it's a number of things, but I'll just whittle it down to the few that I'm mostly inclined towards.
Right.
And I feel that our connectivity in terms of a people as Africa is one of the first things that should unite us more than divide us. When we you put me in Harare right now, put me here in Ndola, I feel like it's not different. I feel like, I wanted to say it's home away from home, but it's home.
When we're in your country.
Yes, absolutely. So I think,
feel different.
just that interconnectedness, I think if we allow it to unite us, And when we come to the table with different set of skills and different passions and put it together to create one product, we can be more impactful. So for me, the first place is collaboration. And, you know, we have to get to a mindset that says all of us are bigger than one of us, which has been our problem in the past. Is, you know, we stand alone. In Shona, we have a phrase for that, mbimbindoga. You want to stand on your own, but it's almost futile most of the time, because you can have 100% of the cake but $0, or you can have 5% of the cake and $100, whilst other people also eat the cake. So there is enough room for everybody at the table. So the first thing that I feel, you know, in terms of my experience and my interactions with different people from government, you know, to corporate, is if we can collaborate more as Africa. Secondly, you rightly mentioned the issue of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence is our friend, it's not our enemy. So again, I think it's the first thing that we need to get in our minds. And I'll give you a simple example.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with someone around the issue of AI, and they said, McDonald, you know what? This is how life is. We need to embrace the different development and technology that comes with life. For example, there was an era in time when teachers and mathematicians were mad because there was this gadget called a calculator that was introduced.
Yes.
No, it's going to kill how people think, it's going to kill math. But, you know, look at us 20 years from now, just have this device and your calculator is at hand. So it doesn't take away the human elements in terms of what you input, because what you get out of AI is what you input into it. So I think that continuous development in terms of learning new skills, continuously learning, I believe that it's also a key in terms of growing individually as well as nationally. AI, you know, is brought in so many, I mean, of course, it's got its issues of, you know, concern that we need to also look at. But I think generally there are more opportunities than threats within the space of AI. So what are we doing in terms of relearning, which is a thing that we constantly need to do, you know, throughout our life. So I'll just stick to those two things. But I feel like those are very critical areas.
I was watching a podcast. Kevin Hart was hosting Jay-Z.
Ah.
And Jay-Z said something very, very fundamental. He said, listen, I can own 100% of my company and not make so much money, but 1% of Apple is far more money than 100% of my company. And so, because I am thinking I need to be the one that owns everything, I will not grow. But if I am able to get into a place where I am networking, my net worth obviously will go up. So I like that you say all of us are bigger than one of us.
That's very true. But if we're going to talk about networking, I'm going to ask somebody who, him and I have had an opportunity to do fellowships where the core of those is like expanding your network and meeting different people. How has that like impacted you in the work that you're doing? What would you tell somebody out there who thinks they could build something by themselves without actually, you know, meeting other people and involving?
Absolutely, the network. Brilliant question. And before I answer that, I'll just, you know, go back to, you know, that example of how this, you know, amazing breakfast show it's really amazing. Which I think, you know, maybe if you had it as an individual, you know, it would be okay. If you had it as an individual, it would be okay. But
when I have it as an individual, it's lit. As an individual,
yeah.
he dies.
So
I see. So
one day.
So it's like you know, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's.
No, it's okay. I'm beastly. Like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one thing we miss out on when we go to conferences, when we go to summit, when we go to, you know, these networking opportunities. We are so good at taking business cards and phone numbers.
Yes.
So good. Brilliant. Hi, my name is McDonald. You know, I do this. Okay, here's my business card. Can I have your card? But if we're going to be honest, most of the time those business cards are just, you know, in a stack somewhere. You know, but how many times do you actually take to be intentional about taking that, you know, putting it in your phone and say, hey, Mr. How is McDonald? We met at the, you know.
Well, we met at the US Embassy when we co-hosted the summit.
The Southern Scientific Summit, yes, you know.
Okay.
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay.
Is that some FOMO here? But just to show you the power
Yeah.
of synergy and network, and I'm doing work that I'm thinking is meaningful and I believe is impactful, and you guys are also doing work that I believe is meaningful and impactful.
Yeah.
But it's just intentionally reaching out to each other that we actually hear and having the same development conversation on a different level.
Yeah.
So it's not just about convening,
Mhm.
but it's about what do you do after convening. And you know, obviously you can't have that relationship or network without convening. Both are critically important, but
That's true.
let's be intentional about being in rooms that important conversations are being had. And when they are being had, and I have my rule of three that I always do whenever
Yeah, so
when I,
it's deep.
yeah,
Yeah.
I call it the simple rule of three, but it's one rule really.
Mhm.
Whenever I get into a room, I make sure that I talk with as many people as I can, but I connect with three people on an individual basis, and talk more and be intentional about having conversations with them after the event, because obviously you can't talk to everybody in the room, and sometimes it's just simple connection over over what kind of tea do you prefer, or are you a Manchester City supporter, the best team in England,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
By a little.
Yeah. You almost got it. You
no.
almost got it.
Don't tell me you're the noisy neighbors. But sometimes it's things like that connect you. But I believe there's got to be an intentionality in terms of reaching out when you're in those rooms, and then an intentionality to also. And I think you've seen me on some of the groups that we are, and I really push on.
After the summit, when we were in the thick of things,
Yeah.
oh, it's very nice to meet you from South Africa.
Yeah.
You're going to talk or do business.
Yeah.
And then you connect with like
Very few people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's-
without the intention
Exactly.
behind it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's intentionality.
My question would be, here's a young McDonald, 5, maybe 6, has the whole world, before him, and is growing into an African child, probably lacking mentorship like many
Yeah.
African children. At what point in your life does it click? I need to be different. And what triggers this thought that you actually, just pursue it intentionally, because you're talking about being intentional, intentionally, and you say, I am going to be the change that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just lean into my story,
Yeah.
because every person's story is different.
Mhm.
I grew up in a family where it was not all rosy, and I know we all have different stories, but I'm just going to be, honest to my story.
Mhm.
It was not a bed of roses. Things were difficult, with two parents who were really trying, but things were, ends were not really coming together.
Mhm.
But the one thing that they were intentional about was, obviously providing us, a head over our roof, a roof over our heads, and a basic education. And I grew up in, in a high density suburb called Chitungisa. Shout out Chitungisa. I love that place.
Yeah.
But it's not an area where you would normally think that you would get, a majority of affluent, successful people. It's just people living, some really from hand to mouth. But for me, it took that, obviously grounding from my parents. And I'll be quite frank. When the terrible teens hit, and your after high school life, the plan went awry for a little bit for me, and hung with the wrong company. At one point in time, things were very bad. Really, got into a nasty, I would call functional alcoholic, kind of phase.
Right.
And it just really took an awakening for me to ask myself, where am I going with my life? And at that time I met somebody who then introduced me to God. For me, that was the turning point, if you want, for my life. So once I got into that space, I'm not there. I'm trying. We fall short and we continue. But for me, that was the turning point that really made me turn around to really look at myself and say, I can be different. I can live a different kind of lifestyle. I can actually have an outcome that I envisage will be great, not only for me, but for the generations to come.
Mm-hmm.
And what that did also for me now, as it led me to where I am now, and as we go, remember I also said that the journey of purpose is ever evolving.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I then asked myself is, McDonald, I remember I was about 22 years old at the time. I said, McDonald, if you had the information that you have now, because after that, I really started feasting in, this personal development books. You're talking about your 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey, your Napoleon Hills, your Brian Tracy's, different leaders who are coming in with a principle-centered life. And I looked at my life at 22 and really starting to see a different paradigm and how I can actually be able to attain all the goals that I want to, despite the adversity that I'm facing. And I asked myself, if I had this information as a 10-year-old, as a 12-year-old, how different would my life be? And that spurred me now to begin to go back into school. So I'll go into schools, do this personal development, coaching classes, just, really inspire the young people there. And then again, it's been an evolutionary journey as I'm pouring out, the people have been pouring in, and, it just grew into a space where led me into the media space, grew to be, on radio, did radio and TV for about 15 years, as a main news anchor, radio presenter and producer as well. And that really, began to narrow my forte in terms of my interest in terms of business now, moderating, convening, and now being able to be afforded the opportunity to have these conversations of development for individuals, for countries, and for the continent, across the world. It's really a privilege and an honor. So for me, in a nutshell, I would say that's been my journey. But I also have to say that, if it's true to me, if it happened to me, and I'm living testimony, can happen to anyone, absolutely anyone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have to take that in for a little bit and just that is very inspiring, and for somebody out there, because being an African child is hard in itself, just being on this continent and the obstacles that you have to overcome to actually learn or find your purpose and then get into that. Do we have as many mentors, and what are we doing now at this level to ensure that the African child who's having a hard time in some low-income area somewhere can see past their circumstances to, because if we're talking about building Africa, obviously we have to start from the people in here before now.
Absolutely.
We tackle leaders and the political space and all these things that are happening. How do we ensure that we get to that child and inspire them to?
Absolutely, thank you very much. I think for me, the first place of mentorship, and at least that happened to me, is I think I was probably in primary school. I can't really recall the age. So when my mother introduced me to a book, that was the first place of mentorship. So reading takes you places.
Oh, yeah.
It transports you from the most terrible of circumstances to a palace, just by reading and learning through what other people have gone through. So I think the very first place is to always, instill that culture of reading. The books, those people, they might not be present physically that wrote those books, but you can learn from their experiences in 1 year what took them 10 years to learn and put it in a book. So I think that, in terms of access, because it's not everybody who's going to have access to Aliko Dangote, for example, but when Aliko Dangote pens a book, everybody has got the opportunity to actually know what he knows. So I think for me, the first place in terms of mentorship is reading, and the responsibility on parents and teachers to instill and encourage young children, young Africans to be readers. Somebody said leaders are readers, and I really believe that.
Especially in the world of short attention span.
Absolutely. And then secondly, I think intentionality again. There are people who are my mentors, and for most of them, I've had to intentionally reach out. And sometimes it's not just saying, "Hey, Kals, how are you doing? Can you mentor me?" Sometimes it's intentionally creating and cultivating a relationship, which sometimes even without the official title of, this is my mentor, this is my protege, you're actually, being mentored. As you put yourself in rooms where there are people who have gone ahead of the journey that you want to walk. Put yourself in those rooms. Be intentional about reading their material. Follow them on their social medias. What are they talking about? Who do they follow? What kind of books do they read? And I think that intentionality is important. And if you've got access to, or close to access to the people that you want to be mentored with, reach out.
Don't waste the space.
Yeah, I like that you bring books into the conversation, because I read a book, Think Big.
Right.
Ben Carson.
Yeah.
And it changed my life forever. And since 1996, I've been reading a book a week.
Brilliant.
my approach to books is this. McDonald has written a book. Of course, I will not be with him physically, but because I have his book, I mingle with McDonald.
Absolutely.
And I mingle with McDonald's best ideas on a particular subject. So if McDonald is writing about AI, I have the best of McDonald's thoughts on AI.
Right.
So I'm like, when I'm reading McDonald, you talk to me at my pace. And so when I'm tired of McDonald, you wait for me. Give yourself some, a form of self. Chill.
I'm coming back just now.
Let me take a shower. Right? McDonald, what were you saying? That's my approach. And so
I like that.
I tell other people, younger people that I've met, and say, if you want to be in a space where the most important people are, go to a library.
Brilliant.
Hey, you're welcome.
Oh wow.
Let me tell you that you left a book in my car.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you
I know. I intentionally left it on the side. Yeah. But I want to ask you this: your profession, especially somebody that's in the media, always has a name tag about them, and there are myths about people in the media. What's the one myth in the media or in your profession that people have that you'd like to debunk?
Then I have it all together.
Thank you. He speaks my mind. I like this guy. I'm gonna keep him. There's no going back to him.
I don't have it all together, and because you're in a public space, when people look up to you, they sometimes want to vicariously live their lives through you, and so they maybe see the 1 hour out of the whole week where you are, obviously flossing and waxing lyrical, and think that's you every time, every day. I actually, sometimes get annoyed, get bummed, like everybody, and I don't have it all together. I make lots of mistakes, I've made, brilliant decisions as well.
Yeah.
But I'm only human.
That's it. Speaking of only human, we got 10 minutes on the clock before we go. So we're gonna do some quick fire questions. We've been very intense and very intelligent.
Yes.
Sounding.
Yes.
But now we're gonna bring it down and have a little fun and get to know other things about McDonald's. This is only human. We get to know I'd like to know 5 of your favorite books that you'd recommend to somebody else. What is McDonald's morning routine? What does it do when he wakes up in the morning? What does that look like? And what is McDonald's favorite thing about Zambia since it's been around in Zambia? It's done a conference, it's been to Lusaka. He ran into traffic, so probably not the best. Yes, that's some of my quick fire questions.
Okay.
And what is McDonald's favorite song that we're gonna outro with as we end the show?
Yeah.
Would you like to add some quick fire questions?
Obviously.
Okay.
Of all the teams.
With no violence.
Of all the teams.
Yes.
Why Manchester City?
Oh, wow.
No, it's a joke.
Also, to enjoy the best view of the Victoria Falls on our side.
On our side, yes. No,
When he crossed
my questions would be, what sustains you?
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, what kind of family person are you? Like when your family looks at you, what's their description of you, if you've ever gotten that?
Okay.
Number three, what's your favorite meal? What do you love to eat?
Okay.
I think those will suffice because then we
And then I'm going to add one last one that I like to ask people, and I asked you, how would you like people to experience you when you meet you for the first time?
Oh,
Okay, dogs. So I tried to just write down so that I can be sad.
yeah.
In terms of books, you asked first.
Hold on. Should we have a song playing in the background just to dramatize it?
No, I don't have time.
Okay. Let's go.
I'll actually start with that question. You
Yeah.
say this a song that I like. There are many songs. I'm so eclectic, and I've got seasons with songs.
I mean, you've been on radio.
Yeah. I've got seasons with songs, but I think for me, what would take me back, and maybe you can actually look for that or play it in the background as you were saying. The song, I'll put it as my first signature tune. It was a violin version of Swedish House Mafia's "Don't You Worry, Child." So yeah. So for me, "Don't You Worry, Child," Jeffen's got a plan for you. Then books, I would say, and not in any particular order, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. I would say Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I'll put the next book, Reset an A to Z Guide to Thrive in Trying Times by Mcdonald, Gurura. See what I did there?
It's okay. We're gonna get it.
Absolutely. And I would also say Emerge by an author called Sibarashi Nyamadzao. It's based in Zimbabwe, brilliant book. And then the Bible.
Oh,
Yeah.
amen to that.
Amen.
The
Amen.
Bible has, people don't understand, business principles,
Yeah.
relationship, like everything, you'll find them in there.
In the Bible.
It's the guru of books.
Absolutely. My routine in the morning.
Mhm.
I wish I could say I'm a fitness freak like you. But and this is the thing about me. When I started radio, I did the graveyard shift for days.
I've never done the graveyard
Never done the
shift.
graveyard shift. Oh my gosh.
My decades.
Oh wow! I did a graveyard
Big
shift for
time.
days, 12 to 3, and then 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Then there was a time when I now started doing the graveyard, then the morning TV show between 6 and 8,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
go back home, rest a bit, freshen up, and come back to do stories for radio. So what that did for me is it began to create insomniac habits in me. So most of the time, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, that's my sleeping time. And 4, 5, I'm already awake, and most of the time inside I'm reading and just going through, okay, what am I doing today? So yeah, no mess, no fast, but obviously again starting off with the word in prayer. That is the first thing.
Coffee or tea drinker?
Tea.
Oh.
Sting.
I
I drink tea. I
Boy,
don't drink coffee, my dear. Yeah.
I was gonna be shocked to say coffee.
I'm a
Yes.
tea person. I'm a tea
Yes,
person.
yes,
And then in terms of why Man City, I was just a mercenary decision to be honest. I used to support Leeds United.
Yeah.
That was my team from childhood.
Right.
But when it got relegated, I felt my conversation was irrelevant.
Yes.
When people were
Yes.
talking about Chelsea, Man City, Man United, And so I took a long, hard decision way back in the days of Pellegrini before Mancini.
Yeah.
And I was just messing about, okay, where's the oil money going to? Because wherever the oil money is going to, there's going to be money.
Yeah.
And when there's money, there's going to be good players.
Players.
And when there's good players, I think that's a winning team. So logically,
Mercenary. I like that.
it wasn't emotional at all.
Right.
Better views of Vic Falls. I mean, I can, just fly you guys over and you can just see it from Victoria, from Vic Falls in Zimbabwe. But I would love to see it from.
They don't even get close. They don't even have the devil's pool.
No.
Wow.
Boiling point.
What kind of a family person am I? Look, right now I'm single. Masterpieces take time, they say. So I'll talk about.
Single. Run to our Facebook Live.
So in terms of a family person, in terms of how I grew up and who I still am, I'm the family clown.
Right.
Yeah, I'm the clown. I'm the resident DJ. I'm the life and the soul of the party. I'm the cool uncle.
I can
Yeah, okay.
Right. Favorite meal, and mac and cheese. Yeah.
Such an amazing man.
Yeah.
Oh, on the contrary, I actually, love cooking. I love cooking. Yeah.
That is so dope.
Yeah. So there's a question I can't even see how I wrote here. I think I write in tongues.
How-
I write like a doctor.
To experience it the first time.
How do a person who's passionate about what I do, I want people to live my experience being equally passionate about their own country in Africa as I'm passionate about Zimbabwe and Africa.
Oh, that's exactly what I've got.
Is it? So job done.
Yeah, job done.
But more than anything, I also want to be known as a listener, because sometimes we're in such a hurry to speak,
Yes.
we don't listen and actually get where people are coming from. It's like how sometimes we greet each other, hi, how are you? Fine, and that's it. But are we really taking? Are you really fine? Exactly. So yeah, for me, those are the ways that I would like people to experience me. Yep.
That was good.
And for a radio or for a media person, concise.
Yes.
Which is very rare.
No, but that's what you learned.
Yes. Meet a
Even
politician.
up like a robber.
Meet a politician and a clergyman. they'll talk for 1 hour and they'll say, with those few words, what are you talking about?
In conclusion,
Yes.
my final words, and then they go.
My final conclusion, the second conclusion, an hour ago.
There's a clergyman called Bishop Chida Bismarck from
Yeah.
Zimbabwe who heads this ministry called New Life Ministries. He's got this popular phrase that we all know him, even people like me who don't go to his church. He always says, so, if you give me 2 minutes of your time, and it's 2 minutes, 2 minutes is not really 2 minutes. You ask for 2 minutes 5 times.
So we have a tradition on the PMC, not to cut you.
Okay.
But every time we're signing up, we leave people with some nuggets of wisdom. What would be yours?
I would say, seek God, seek His kingdom, seek His righteousness, and everything else will follow.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and everything will be added unto you. Women.
Why? Son of Solomon.
Wow. With a lot of concubines.
No, but that's very profound.
It is very profound. So what are you leaving our people with as we sign up?
It's Friday. Go get drunk with the Holy Spirit.
Oh, wow. That's just
Yeah. No. On a serious note, though, go be responsible. That's it. Just go be responsible.
That's it.
Transform your life and impact many others. Yeah.
And for me, if you're going through something on a Friday, I don't even know why you're going through something, but if you are, a desert teaches you more about water than an ocean would.
Preach. Yeah.
Man, stop the record.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show, and it's been a good deep dive. Hopefully, if you are watching live on social media, on Facebook, you will find this whole interview with Mcdonald Gurura to give us an hour of his time on the PMC, and I would like to thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a privilege and an honor. I'm excited. And I look forward to coming back.
Yes, you should come back.
Absolutely, I'd love to do
Yes.
this.
I'll kick him up so you
Wow. Wow.
He's leaving.
Oh, wow.
Forgot about that bit. That I have to contend with you.
Yeah.
Can live with each other, but can't live without each other. I guess.
That thing. It's a love-hate relationship. No, but absolutely do come back.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again for having me. Would love to do so.
And has Zambia been good?
Zambia has been kind to me. I love the people. I don't feel like I'm even away from Zimbabwe. I feel I'm at home. Such friendly people, and loving it.
We're gonna take him out for breakfast and show him around Dola.
Yeah.
We haven't had a
love
chance
that.
to see Dola.
I love that. Thank you.
That's what we're gonna do. Yardley,
God's gifts to radio.
and
Yes.
I am Misty. We're gonna allow McDonald to do his thing too.
Yeah.
Oh.
The radio version.
Oh, you say the radio version?
Yes.
Okay. And which song are we giving out with?
Swedish House.
Okay, alright. Is that me on cue?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been fantastic having you on the breakfast show right here on Platinum Radio, 99.7 FM Copperbelt. My name is Gurura, Mcdonald Gurura, the man with a license to thrill. We'll leave you listening to the sounds of the Swedish House Mafia. Don't you worry, child.